The mysterious cave. It was a perfect summer day at Seagrove Beach. The sun shone brightly, casting a golden glow over the endless stretch of white sand. Seagulls called out above the rhythmic crash of the waves, and children's laughter filled the air as they built sandcastles and splashed in the surf. Among these children was Jake, a curious and adventurous boy with an insatiable love for exploration. Little did he know that his life was about to change forever. Jake had spent the morning searching for seashells and interesting rocks along the shore. As the tide began to retreat, he noticed something unusual in the distance. Where the water had receded, it revealed a small, dark opening in the side of a rocky outcrop that jutted into the sea. Intrigued, Jake walked closer, his heart pounding with excitement. He had explored this beach many times before, but had never seen anything like this. The entrance to the cave was partially obscured by an angle of seaweed and barnacles, but it was just large enough for a young boy to squeeze through. Taking a deep breath, Jake pushed aside the seaweed and crawled inside. The air inside the cave was cool and damp, a stark contrast to the warm, sunny beach outside. He fumbled for his flashlight, the beam cutting through the darkness to reveal a narrow tunnel leading further into the rock. As Jake ventured deeper, the walls of the tunnel began to shimmer with an otherworldly glow. Strange, phosphorescent algae clung to the damp rock, casting a soft, greenish light. The tunnel opened up into a larger cavern, and Jake gasped in awe. Stalactites hung from the ceiling like ancient, stone icicles, and a small, crystal-clear pool of water lay at the center of the cave. But it wasn't the natural beauty that caught Jake's attention. It was the faint, melodic singing that seemed to echo from the depths of the pool, beckoning him closer. With a mixture of fear and curiosity, Jake approached the pool. As he peered into its depths, the singing grew louder, more distinct. He could just make out a shadowy figure moving beneath the water. Suddenly, the figure emerged, revealing the face of a young girl with flowing hair and a shimmering tail. Jake's eyes widened in astonishment. He had discovered a mermaid. A secret revealed. Jake's heart pounded as he stared at the mermaid in awe. She had emerald green eyes that sparkled like the ocean's depths and hair that flowed like liquid gold. Her tail shimmered with iridescent scales, reflecting the cave's ethereal light. The mermaid smiled warmly, sensing Jake's astonishment. "Hello," she greeted him, her voice as melodic as the singing that had drawn him in. "My name is Marina. Welcome to my world." Jake stammered, Hi, I'm Jake. I didn't mean to intrude. I was just exploring." Marina laughed gently, her laughter like the tinkling of tiny bells. "You're not intruding, Jake. Few humans ever find their way here, but those who do are often meant to. There's something special about you." With a graceful flick of her tail, Marina beckoned Jake to the edge of the pool. "Come with me, and I'll show you my home," she said. Hesitant yet curious, Jake nodded. As Marina extended her hand, he took it, feeling a strange warmth and sense of calm wash over him. The moment Jake touched the water, he felt a tingling sensation spread through his body. Before he knew it, he was completely submerged. To his amazement, he could breathe underwater as easily as he did on land. Marina swam beside him, her movements fluid and graceful. They glided through a hidden tunnel at the bottom of the pool, which opened up into a breathtaking underwater world. The underwater kingdom was a sight to behold. Towering coral structures, vibrant with colors, formed the cityscape. Schools of fish in every hue imaginable darted around them, and bioluminescent plants illuminated the surroundings with a gentle glow. Magnificent sea creatures of all shapes and sizes roamed freely, coexisting in harmony. Marina led Jake to the heart of the kingdom, where a grand palace made of coral and pearls stood. It was more beautiful than anything Jake had ever seen. The palace gates opened, revealing the mermaid king and queen, who greeted them with regal kindness. "Jake, we have been expecting you," the queen said with a serene smile. "There is an ancient prophecy that foretold your arrival. You and Marina are destined to save our kingdom from a great peril that is awakening." Jake's mind whirled with the enormity of the revelation. He was just a boy from the beach, yet here he was, being told he had a crucial role to play in an underwater kingdom he hadn't even known existed an hour ago. Determined and brave, Jake looked at Marina and the royal mermaid family. "Tell me what I need to do," he said, ready to embrace his destiny and protect this newfound world. Meeting the mermaid princess. As Jake stood before the majestic palace, still reeling from the revelation of his destiny, Marina guided him through the grand entrance. They walked through corridors adorned with beautiful murals depicting the history of the underwater kingdom. Jake marveled at the vibrant colors and intricate details, each wall telling a story of ancient times and heroic deeds. In the grand hall, a young mermaid swam towards them. She had a regal presence, with a crown of seashells and pearls resting lightly on her head. Her long hair floated gracefully around her, and her eyes sparkled with curiosity and intelligence. Marina introduced her with a proud smile. "Jake, this is my sister, Princess Elara," Marina said. "Elara, this is Jake, the boy from the prophecy." Elara extended her hand to Jake, who shook it somewhat awkwardly, still adjusting to the underwater world. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Jake," she said warmly. "I've heard much about you, and I'm excited to have you here. Together, we can achieve great things." Jake felt a sense of reassurance in Elara's presence. Despite her royal status, she exuded a kindness and openness that put him at ease. Over the next few days, Elara took it upon herself to show Jake around the kingdom. They visited the coral gardens, where plants glowed in the dim light, creating a magical landscape. Elara shared stories of her people and their traditions, and Jake, in turn, told her about life on the surface. As they spent more time together, a deep friendship began to blossom. Elara admired Jake's bravery and curiosity, while Jake was inspired by Elara's wisdom and compassion. They laughed and learned together, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. Elara taught Jake how to communicate with the marine creatures, and he quickly became friends with dolphins, turtles, and even a shy octopus named Ollie. One afternoon, as they rested on a coral outcrop, watching the dance of colorful fish, Elara turned to Jake with a serious expression. "Jake, there's something important you should know. The prophecy speaks of a great challenge that will test our courage and unity. We must prepare for it, but remember, you are not alone. We will face it together." Jake nodded, feeling a mix of determination and gratitude. "I know, Elara. I'm ready to do whatever it takes to protect your kingdom. We've got this." With a firm resolve, Jake and Elara continued their preparations, forging a partnership that would soon face the greatest test of their lives. Their friendship, born from a chance encounter in a mysterious cave, was now the foundation of a mission to save an entire world. Exploring the kingdom. The next morning, Elara and Jake embarked on an exciting tour of the underwater kingdom. The first stop was the coral gardens, a breathtaking expanse of vibrant coral reefs that stretched as far as the eye could see. The corals came in every shape and color imaginable, from delicate, fan-like structures to robust, tree-like formations swaying gently with the currents. Schools of neon fish darted in and out of the coral, their scales reflecting the sunlight that filtered down from the surface. "This is one of my favorite places," Elara said, her voice filled with pride. "The coral gardens are not only beautiful but also vital to our ecosystem. They provide shelter and food for countless marine creatures." Jake was mesmerized by the kaleidoscope of colors and the bustling activity around him. As they swam deeper, they encountered a group of dolphins playing a game of underwater tag. The dolphins greeted Elara with joyful clicks and whistles, and she introduced Jake to them. One particularly friendly dolphin, named Finn, playfully nudged Jake, inviting him to join their game. Laughing, Jake accepted, and soon he was swimming and playing with the dolphins, feeling a sense of freedom and exhilaration he had never experienced before. Next, Elara led Jake to the Crystal Caves, a series of underwater caverns filled with dazzling crystal formations. The crystals glowed with an inner light, casting a magical ambience throughout the caves. "These crystals are unique to our kingdom," Elara explained. "They have special properties that help us harness the energy of the ocean." As they ventured further, they came upon an ancient shipwreck, now home to a diverse community of marine life. Colorful fish swam in and out of the ship's broken windows, while sea anemones and starfish clung to its decaying hull. Elara explained that the wreck was a reminder of the surface world's history and its impact on the ocean. Jake listened intently, feeling a deep connection to both worlds and a growing sense of responsibility to protect them. Their final stop was the Royal Library, a magnificent structure built from mother-of-pearl and adorned with intricate carvings. Inside, the library was filled with scrolls and books containing the wisdom and history of the underwater kingdom. Elara showed Jake a section dedicated to human history and surface knowledge, emphasizing the importance of understanding and learning from each other. As they swam back to the palace, Jake felt overwhelmed by the wonders he had seen and the knowledge he had gained. He realized that the underwater kingdom was a place of incredible beauty and complexity, and he was determined to do everything in his power to protect it. His bond with Elara had deepened, and together, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The ancient prophecy. As days turned into weeks, Jake and Elara continued their exploration and training. One afternoon, while perusing the vast collections of the Royal Library, they stumbled upon an ancient, weathered scroll hidden in a dusty corner. The scroll was sealed with an intricate emblem of a sea serpent, which caught Elara's attention immediately. "This emblem belongs to the Order of the Deep," Elara explained, her eyes wide with recognition. "They were ancient seers and protectors of our kingdom's most sacred knowledge." Carefully breaking the seal, they unrolled the scroll. Faded, elegant script detailed a prophecy that sent shivers down Jake's spine. "In a time of great peril, when the waters churn with unrest, a monstrous force shall awaken from the depths. Only through the unity of the surface and the sea, marked by a child from above and a guardian from below, can the beast be vanquished. Together, they shall wield the Pearl of Tides, the key to restoring balance and peace." Elara's voice trembled slightly as she read the prophecy aloud. "The Pearl of Tides is a powerful artifact, believed to be lost for centuries," she said. "It holds the ancient magic of our ancestors and can command the Vertides themselves." Jake's mind raced with questions. "Do we know where to find this pearl?" he asked, feeling the weight of their mission more than ever. Elara nodded slowly. "The last known location of the pearl was the Abyssal Trench, a place so deep and dark that few have ventured there and returned. It's said to be guarded by ancient, formidable creatures." Determined, Jake met Elara's gaze. "Then that's where we need to go," he declared. "If we have any chance of stopping this sea monster, we need to find the Pearl of Tides." The discovery of the prophecy brought a sense of urgency to their preparations. The reality of the impending threat loomed over them, but it also strengthened their resolve. Jake and Elara knew they had to gather more allies and plan meticulously for the dangerous journey ahead. That evening, they shared the prophecy with Marinanth royal family. The king and queen listened intently, their faces etched with concern. "The Abyssal Trench is perilous," the king warned, "but we have faith in you both. We will provide you with everything you need for the journey." As they prepared for the expedition, the entire kingdom rallied behind them. The dolphins, led by Finn, offered to guide them through the treacherous waters. The wise octopus Ali promised to share his knowledge of the trench's labyrinthine paths. Even the smallest creatures of the kingdom contributed in their own ways, offering supplies and support. Jake and Elara stood at the edge of the palace grounds, looking out at the vast ocean. They knew the journey ahead would be fraught with danger, but the bond they had forged and the prophecy's guidance filled them with hope and determination. Together, they were ready to face the ancient prophecy and the monstrous force it foretold. Gathering allies. With the prophecy and their mission clear, Jake and Elara set out to gather allies from across the underwater kingdom. Their first stop was the Coral Gardens, where they had previously met the playful dolphins. Finn, the friendly dolphin who had bonded with Jake, was eager to help. "Finn, we need your help to navigate the Abyssal Trench," Jake explained. "Your speed and knowledge of the currents will be invaluable." Finn clicked enthusiastically, nodding his sleek head. "We'll be by your side, Jake. The dolphins are ready to assist." From the Coral Gardens, Jake and Elara ventured plus Toth Kelp Forest, a dense and mysterious underwater jungle. Here, they sought the wisdom of the ancient cedar turtle lived among the towering kelp fronds. The leader of the turtles, a wise old turtle named Taro, Listini didn't light their story. "The Pearl of Tides holds great power," Taro rumbled in his deep, measured voice. "We have long protected the secrets of the Abyssal Trench. We will guide you through the forest and beyond, ensuring your safe passage." Next, they swam to the luminous glow caves, home to the bioluminescent jellyfish. These ethereal creatures floated gracefully, casting a gentle light in the dark waters. Their leader, a jellyfish named Lumina, agreed to join their cause. "Our light will guide you through the darkest parts of the trench," Lumina said softly. "We will illuminate Thepith and help you avoid dangers hidden in the shadows." As they continued their journey, Jake and Elara met Ali, the wise octopus they had befriended earlier. Ali, with his vast knowledge of the ocean's depths and hidden pathways, was more than willing to assist. "The Abyssal Trench is a labyrinth," Ali warned, his tentacles moving thoughtfully. "But with my knowledge and the guidance of our allies, we will find the Pearl of Tides." Their final stop was the deep, open waters where whales resided. These gentle giants were revered in Thunderwater Kingdom for their strength and wisdom. The leader, an ancient whale named Orin, agreed to lend a support. "Our songs carry far and wide," Orin said, his voice resonating like a deep melody. "We will call upon all creatures of the deep to aid you in your quest." With a diverse group of allies gathered, Jake and Elara felt a renewed sense of hope and determination. Each creature brought unique strengths and knowledge that would be crucial for their journey. The underwater kingdom, once vast and unknowable, now felt like a community united by a common purpose. As they prepared to depart for the Abyssal Trench, the allies gathered around them, a formidable and supportive medium ready to face any challenge. Jake and Elara exchanged determined glances, knowing that together, they could overcome the ancient prophecy's dire predictions. The stage was set for their greatest adventure yet. The journey to the abyssal trench, guarded by ancient and formidable creatures, awaited them. United by friendship and the collective strength of their allies, Jake and Elara were ready to face the unknown and fulfill their destiny. The threat emerges as Jake, Elara, and their newfound allies prepared for their journey to the abyssal trench. Unsettling signs began to surface, indicating that the ancient sea monster was awakening. The calm, serene waters of the underwater kingdom started to exhibit strange disturbances. Unusual currents disrupted the normal flow of the ocean, causing confusion and fear among the marine inhabitants. The first sign came in the form of tremors that shook the ocean floor. Jake and Elara were in the coral gardens, discussing their plans with Finn and the other dolphins when the ground beneath them began to vibrate. The gentle sway of the coral turned into a violent shake, causing fish to scatter in panic. The tremors were short but intense, leaving everyone on edge. "This is just the beginning," Taro, the wise old turtle, warned as they regrouped. "These tremors are a sign that something massive is stirring in the depths. We must hurry." The second sign was even more alarming. A dark, ominous shadow began to appear in the distant waters, growing larger and more distinct each day. At first, it was just a vague shape, but soon it became clear that it was the sea monster's enormous form slowly rising from the abyss. The once clear waters around the shadow turned murky, filled with a foreboding darkness that seemed to spread like a stain. Lumina, the jellyfish leader, noticed that the bioluminescent creatures of the glow caves were dimming, their natural light fading as if consumed by the encroaching darkness. "The light is our life force," she said, her usually calm voice tinged with fear. "If it fades, Sato." Whispers of the monster's return spread quickly throughout the kingdom. Creatures from every corner of the ocean shared tales of its legendary destruction. The monster, known as Thalasson, was said to have the power to summon devastating storms and tidal waves, capable of obliterating entire regions. Orin, the ancient whale, called upon the other sea giants to form a protective circle around the kingdom's perimeter. "We will do our best to hold it back," he rumbled, "but we cannot stop it alone. The Pearl of Tides is our only hope." In the royal palace, the atmosphere grew tense as the king and queen conferred with their advisors. "We must trust in Jake and Elara," the queen said resolutely. "They are our last hope." Jake felt the weight of their mission more acutely than ever. He looked at Elara, who met his gaze with unwavering determination. "We need to find the Pearl of Tides now," Jake said. "There's no time to lose." With their allies ready and their resolve steeled, Jake and Elara set out towards the abyssal trench, the epicenter of Thalasson's awakening. As they swam, the waters grew colder and darker, the sense of impending doom pressing down on them. But amidst the fear, a spark of hope remained, fueled by the strength of their friendship and the support of their diverse and courageous allies. Together, they would face the ancient threat and strive to save both the underwater kingdom and the world above. The magical pearl, with the foreboding presence of Thalasson looming ever closer, Jake, Elara, and their allies plunged into the darkest depths of the abyssal trench. The water grew cooler, and the light from Lumina and her jellyfish kin cast eerie shadows on the jagged rock walls. Guided by Ollie's detailed knowledge of the trench's labyrinthine pathways, they navigated the treacherous terrain with caution. After what felt like hours of swimming through the oppressive darkness, they arrived at a cavern unlike any they had seen before. The walls glowed with faint, ethereal light, and at the center of the cavern, resting on a pedestal of ancient coral, was the Pearl of Tides. It radiated a soft, pulsating glow, illuminating the cavern with a serene blue light. "There it is," Elara whispered, awe in her voice. "The Pearl of Tides." As they approached the pedestal, a low, rumbling growl echoed through the cavern. The guardians of the pearl, colossal sea serpents with shimmering scales, uncoiled from the shadows. Their eyes glowed with an ancient, protective intelligence. "We mean no harm," Jake called out, holding up his hands. "We need the pearl to stop Thalasson from destroying both our worlds." The sea serpents paused, their intense gaze fixed on Jake and Elara. After a tense moment, one of the serpents spoke in a deep, resonant voice that vibrated through the water. "Only those with pure hearts and noble intentions may take the pearl. Prove your worth." Jake stepped forward, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at his insides. "We come from different worlds, but we share a common goal: to protect our homes and everyone we care about. The prophecy brought us together, and we will do whatever it takes to fulfill it." Elara joined him, her voice filled with conviction. "We have united creatures from all corners of the ocean, each contributing their unique strengths. We stand here, ready to face the darkness with the light of unity and hope." The sea serpents exchanged glances before nodding slowly. "Your hearts are true. The Pearl of Tides is yours." With great reverence, Jake reached out and lifted the pearl from its pedestal. As he did, a surge of energy flowed through him, and the pearl's glow intensified. The water around them shimmered with a brilliant light, and a sense of calm and strength enveloped the entire group. "We must return to the surface," Elara said, her eyes shining with determination. "Thalasson will not wait." Clutching the pearl tightly, Jake led the way back through the trench. The journey seemed quicker this time, the pearl's light guiding them safely. As they emerged from the depths, the water above was in turmoil, churning with the impending arrival of the sea monster. With their allies gathered around them, Jake and Elara prepared to confront Thalasson. The magical pearl, now glowing with a powerful light, held the key to their victory. The final battle was at hand, and they were ready to face it together, united by their courage and the strength of their newfound friendship. Training for battle. With the Pearl of Tides secured, Jake and Elara knew they had little time to waste. Thalasson's shadow was growing larger and darker, spreading fear throughout the underwater kingdom. The royal family transformed the palace courtyard into a training ground, and creatures from all corners of the kingdom gathered to offer their expertise. The first step in their training was mastering the Pearl of Tides. Under the guidance of Marina and the royal advisors, Jake and Elara learned to channel its energy. The pearl had the power to control the ocean's currents, summon protective barriers, and even unleash powerful bursts of light. "Focus your mind," Marina instructed as Jake held the glowing pearl. "Imagine the water as an extension of yourself. Let the pearl amplify your intentions." Jake closed his eyes, feeling the pearl's warmth in his hands. He concentrated, picturing a strong current. Slowly, the water around him began to swirl and move, creating a powerful whirlpool that lifted him off the ground. Elara watched in awe, then took the pearl and practiced creating barriers of light that could shield them from attacks. Next, they trained in combat techniques. Finn and the dolphin taught Jake to move swiftly through the water, evading attacks with agility. "Speed is your ally," Finn advised. "Use it to outmaneuver Thalasson." Elara, on the other hand, trained with Taro and the ancient sea turtles. They showed her how to use her environment to her advantage, hiding among the coral and using natural cover to launch surprise attacks. "Patience and strategy are as important as strength," Taro said. Ali, the wise octopus, provided tactical knowledge. "Thalasson is not just a beast of brute force," he warned. "It has cunning and intelligence. We must be prepared for anything." The Glow Cave's jellyfish, led by Lumina, offered their light to practice fighting in the dark, simulating the shadowy environment where Thalasson thrived. Their bioluminescence revealed how to identify and exploit the monster's weaknesses in low-light conditions. Lastly, Orin and the other whales taught Jake and Elara how to use sound as a weapon. Their powerful songs could create sonic waves capable of disorienting Thalasson. "Our voices are our strongest tool," Orin said, demonstrating a deep, resonant call that shook the waters around them. As the days passed, Jake and Elara grew stronger and more confident. They trained tirelessly, honing their skills and forming a deep bond with their families. The underwater kingdom was a flurry of activity, everyone working together with a singular focus: to stop Thalasson and restore peace. On the final day of training, the royal family held a ceremony to honor Jake and Elara. The king presented them with enchanted armor made from the strongest coral and pearls, designed to protect them in the upcoming battle. "You have shown great courage and dedication," he said. "We believe in you." With their training complete and their allies by their side, Jake and Elara were ready to face Thalasson. They knew the battle would be difficult, but united by their purpose and the strength of their friendships, they were determined to succeed. As they prepared to set out, the entire kingdom watched with hope and pride, ready to support their heroes in the fight of their lives. The underwater palace. With their training complete, Jake and Elara took Kamaman to visit the royal palace, a majestic structure built from the finest coral and adorned with shimmering pearls and seashells. The palace stood at the heart of the underwater kingdom, its spires reaching upwards like the hands of a giant coral reef, glowing with an ethereal light. As they approached the grand entrance, flanked by statues of ancient mermaid warriors, they were greeted by 2 royal guards who guided them inside. The interior of the palace was breathtaking, with vast halls lined with intricate mosaics depicting the rich history of the mermaid kingdom. Schools of colorful fish swam gracefully through the hallways, adding to the palace's vibrant atmosphere. At the end of the grand hall, they entered the throne room, where the mermaid king and queen awaited. The king, a regal figure with a long, flowing beard of seaweed and a crown encrusted with precious gems, rose to greet them. Beside him, the queen, whose beauty was unparalleled, wore a gown made of the finest silk that shimmered like the ocean's surface at dawn. "Welcome, Jake and Elara," the king said, his voice deep and resonant like the ocean depths. "We have heard of your bravery and the vital quest you undertake." The queen smiled warmly, her eyes filled with wisdom and kindness. "We are grateful for your efforts to protect our kingdom and the world above. Please, tell us of your journey." Jake and Elara recounted their adventure, from the discovery of the mysterious cave to their training with the various sea creatures and the securing of the Pearl of Tides. The king and queen listened intently, nodding in understanding as they shared the details of the prophecy and the looming threat of Thalasson. "You have done well to unite our kingdom in this time of need," the queen said. "The Pearl of Tides is a powerful artifact, but it requires strong hearts and pure intentions to wield its true power. We believe you are the ones destined to use it." The king gestured to a grand map of the underwater kingdom, which included the treacherous abyssal trench where Thalasson lay in wait. "We will provide you with additional resources for your journey," he said. "Our finest warriors will accompany you, and we will send messages to our allies in the farthest reaches of the ocean to join the fight." Touched by the royal family's support, Jake and Elara felt a renewed sense of determination. The meeting with the king and queen not only provided them with valuable resources but also bolstered their spirits. They knew they were not alone in this battle. The entire underwater kingdom stood with them. Before they left, the queen presented Elara with a beautifully crafted necklace that had been passed down through generations of mermaid royalty. "This necklace has protective magic," she explained. "It will shield you from harm and guide you in times of darkness." The king handed Jake a trident imbued with the power of the ocean itself. "Use this to channel the Pearl of Tides energy," he instructed. "It will help you focus its power and direct it where it is needed most." With heartfelt thanks, Jake and Elara departed the palace, ready to face the final leg of their journey. They were warmed not only with the Pearl of Tides and their training but also with the unwavering support of the royal family and the entire kingdom. United, they were prepared to confront Thalasson and restore peace to both their worlds. Secrets of the Deep. The journey to uncover the secrets of the deep began with Jake and Elara delving into the oldest parts of the underwater kingdom, where few dared to venture. Guided by Ali, the wise octopus, they navigate through a series of ancient, submerged caves filled with mysterious relics and inscriptions from a long-forgotten era. The first hidden secret they uncovered was within a cavern adorned with murals that depicted the history of the underwater kingdom. The murals showed the rise and fall of great civilizations, the battles fought against ancient sea monsters, and the creation of the Pearl of Tides. Among these murals, one particular scene stood out, a depiction of Thalasson being sealed away by a group of powerful mages. This image was accompanied by an inscription in a language so old that even Elara had trouble deciphering it. "These mages were the original guardians of the Pearl," Elara explained, running her fingers over the weathered script. "They used the Pearl's power to trap Thalasson in the abyssal trench. This must be where we find the key to defeating him again." Further exploration led them to a hidden chamber deep within the cave system. This chamber was filled with artifacts that radiated ancient magic. One of the most significant artifacts they found was an ancient amulet that glowed with an inner light similar to the Pearl of Tides. Marina, who had joined them for this part of the journey, recognized it immediately. "This is the amulet of the ancients," Marina said, her voice filled with awe. "It was thought to be lost forever. With this, you can amplify the Pearl's power even further." They also discovered a set of scrolls that detailed ancient spells and rituals, many of which had been forgotten over the centuries. These spells, when used in conjunction with the Pearl and the amulet, could potentially unlock new abilities that might be crucial in their battle against Thalasson. While examining these scrolls, Ali found a reference to the hidden temple located at the very bottom of the abyssal trench. This temple, according to the scrolls, was built by the ancient guardians to house powerful relics and knowledge. It was said to be protected by enchantments and the most formidable sea creatures. "The temple is our next destination," Jake said, determination in his voice. "If it holds more secrets or artifacts that can help us, we need to find it." With the amulet of the ancients in hand and new spells at their disposal, Jake and Elara felt more prepared for the challenges ahead. The secrets they had uncovered provided not only the tools they needed, but also deeper understanding of the history and magic of their underwater world. Their discoveries reinvigorated their resolve. They were now armed with powerful artifacts, ancient knowledge, and the strength of their united allies. As they prepared to descend into the abyssal trench once more, They knew that the final battle with Thalasson was approaching. But with each secret they uncovered, their chances of victory grew stronger, and their bond as friends and warriors deepened. The monster's lair. With the amulet of the ancients and the knowledge from the ancient scrolls, Jake and Elara were now ready to locate Thalasson's hideout. Their journey led them deeper into the abyssal trench, the darkest and most foreboding region of the underwater kingdom. The trench was a place where light barely penetrated, and the pressure was immense, creating an environment few dared to enter. Guided by the ancient spells they had discovered, Jake and Elara followed a series of clues etched into the walls of the trench. The spells illuminated hidden paths and revealed ancient markers left by the original guardians. These markers, carved into the rocks, depicted scenes of past battles with Thalasson and pointed the way to his lair. The deeper they ventured, the more treacherous the journey became. The water grew cooler, and strange, bioluminescent creatures watched them from the shadows. Despite the challenges, they pressed on, their determination unwavering. Finally, they arrived at a massive underwater cave entrance, partially concealed by thick kelp and jagged rocks. The entrance was marked by two colossal statues of the ancient guardians, their stern faces watching over the passage. As Jake and Elara approached, the amulet of the ancients began to glow brightly, resonating with the energy emanating from the cave. "This must be it," Elara said, her voice echoing in the cavernous space. The monster's lair. Inside, the cave walls were lined with phosphorescent crystals that cast an eerie, ghostly light. The floor was strewn with the remains of old shipwrecks and the bones of sea creatures that had fallen prey to Thalasson. The air was thick with an ominous presence, and every sound seemed amplified in the eerie silence. At the center of the cave, a massive chasm descended into the abyss. This was where Thalasson slumbered, waiting to awaken and unleash his fury upon the world. The chasm was surrounded by ancient runes and symbols, pulsing with dark energy. Ali, the wise octopus, examined the runes closely. "These runes are part of the sealing spell the ancient guardians used," he explained. "They've weakened over time, allowing Thalasson to stir. We need to restore these seals to trap him once again." Jake and Elara prepared to descend into the chasm, the pearl of tides and the amulet of the ancients glowing with a powerful light. As they moved closer, the ground beneath them trembled, and a deep, guttural growl resonated from the depths below. "He's waking up," Jake said, gripping the trident tightly. "We need to act fast." With the help of their allies, who formed a protective circle around the chasm, Jake and Elara began to chant the ancient spells, their voices echoing through the cavern. The light from the pearl and the amulet intensified, intertwining with the runes and symbols, restoring their power. As the final words of the spell were spoken, a blinding light erupted from the chasm, and Thalasson's roar shook the entire cave. The seals were restored, and the dark energy began to recede, drawing the monster back into its slumber. For a moment, silence fell over the cavern. Jake and Elara looked at each other, their faces reflecting both exhaustion and relief. They had found Thalasson's lair and restored the ancient seals, but the battle was far from over. The monster was still a threat, and they knew they would need all their strength and the support of their allies for the final confrontation. As they emerged from the cave, the kingdom's creatures greeted them with hopeful cheers. The location of Thalasson's lair was no longer a mystery, and the path to saving their world had never been clearer. United and determined, they prepared for the ultimate battle to protect their home and ensure that the ancient sea monster would never rise again. Betrayal from within. As preparations for the final confrontation with Thalasson intensified, the atmosphere within the underwater kingdom grew tense. Creatures from all corners of the ocean had united under Jake and Elara's leadership, ready to protect their home. However, amidst this unity, a shadow of doubt and suspicion began to creep in, unnoticed by most. One evening, as Jake and Elara were discussing their battle strategies in the royal palace, a sudden commotion erupted outside. They rushed out to find a group of guards restraining one of their closest allies, Nereus, the cunning eel who had provided valuable intelligence throughout their journey. "What is going on?" Elara demanded, her voice filled with confusion. The head guard stepped forward, holding a small, glowing orb that pulsed with a sinister energy. "We found this in Nereus's quarters," he explained. "It's a communication device linked to Thalasson. He has been feeding information to the sea monster." Jake felt a wave of disbelief wash over him. "Nereus, is this true?" Nereus struggled against the guards, his eyes darting nervously. "I had no choice," he hissed. "Thalasson promised me power and safety if I helped him. I never wanted to betray you, but I feared for my life." The revelation struck Jake and Elara hard. Nereus had been an integral part of their plans, and his betrayal meant that Thalasson had been aware of their every move. The sense of unity and trust they had built felt suddenly fragile. "How could you do this?" Elara asked, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and sadness. "We trusted you." Nereus hung his head, his guilt evident. "I was weak," he admitted, "but it's not too late. I can still help you. I know Thalasson's weaknesses and his plans. Let me make amends." The king and queen, who had been listening silently, conferred briefly before the king spoke. "You will have one chance to redeem yourself, Nereus. Guide us to Thalasson's lair and prove your loyalty to the kingdom. If you deceive us again, there will be no mercy." With a heavy heart, Jake agreed. "We need every advantage we can get. But know this, Nereus. Any sign of treachery, and you'll face the consequences." Under close watch, Nereus revealed crucial details about Thalasson's defenses and the traps laid out in his lair. His knowledge provided them with a strategic edge, allowing them to refine their battle plans and avoid potential ambushes. As they prepared for the final assault, the atmosphere was thick with a mix of determination and wariness. The betrayal had shaken them, but it also steeled their resolve. They knew that trust was a precious commodity, one that had to be guarded as fiercely as the Pearl of Tides itself. On the day of the final battle, Nereus led the way to Thalasson's lair. The path was treacherous, filled with hidden dangers that only he could navigate. Despite their mistrust, they followed him, aware that his insider knowledge was their best hope for victory. As they approached the lair, the ground shook with Thalasson's stirring presence. The sea monster's roars echoed through the waters, a chilling reminder of the challenge ahead. But with the Pearl of Tides, the amulet of the ancients, and the unity of their allies, Jake and Elara felt ready. The final battle was about to begin, and they would face it together, stronger for the trials they had overcome and the lessons they had learned. In the depths of the ocean, amidst the darkness and danger, their resolve shone bright, ready to confront the ancient terror and protect their worlds. Race against time. With Nereus's betrayal now exposed, the urgency to stop Thalasson intensified. Every passing moment brought the ancient sea monster closer to full awakening, and the consequences of its rampage would be catastrophic for both the underwater kingdom and the world above. Jake, Elara, and their allies knew they had to act swiftly and decisively. The team, now bolstered by the tactical knowledge provided by Nereus, moved with heightened speed and precision. They navigated the labyrinthine pathways of the abyssal trench, avoiding the traps and ambushes Thalasson had set. The path was fraught with peril, each step taking them deeper into the heart of darkness where Thalasson lay in wait. "We're running out of time," Elara said, her voice steady but urgent. "Every minute we delay gives Thalasson more strength." Jake nodded, his grip tightening on the rider imbued with the power of the Pearl of Tides. "Let's keep moving. We can't afford any mistakes." As they approached the final stretch leading to Thalasson's lair, the water around them began to pulse with a dark, foreboding energy. The once familiar glow of bioluminescent creatures had vanished, replaced by an oppressive darkness that seemed to swallow all light. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled violently. Thalasson's roars echoed through the depths, each one louder and more menacing than the last. The sea monster was waking up, and its fury was palpable. "We need to reach the heart of the lair and use the pearl to seal him away again," Marina urged, her usually calm demeanor showing signs of strain. "Once he's fully awake, it will be nearly impossible to stop him." With urgency, Jake, Elara, and their allies pressed forward. The final chamber of Thalasson's lair loomed ahead, and a vast, cavernous space filled with swirling shadows and eerie, phosphorescent light. At its center, Thalasson's massive form began to stir, its eyes glowing with a malevolent intelligence. "Now, Jake!" Elara shouted, positioning herself beside him. Together, they raised the Pearl of Tides and the amulet of the ancients, their combined power casting a brilliant light that cut through the darkness. Jake channeled his energy through the trident, directing the pearl's magic toward Thalasson. The ancient spells they had learned began to weave around the monster, forming intricate patterns of light that sought to bind it. Thalasson roared in defiance, its massive tentacles lashing out at the intruders. Their allies sprang into action, creating a protective barrier around Jake and Elara. Orin and the whales used their sonic waves to disorient Thalasson, while Finn and the dolphins moved swiftly, evading the monster's attacks and drawing its attention away from the spellcasters. As the sealing spell reached its climax, the ground shook violently, and the air was filled with the sound of Thalasson's enraged bellows. The ancient runes carved into the cavern walls began to glow, responding to the pearl's power. Slowly but surely, Thalasson's movements grew sluggish, the light of the spell binding it tighter and tighter. "We're almost there," Jake shouted, his voice barely audible over the cacophony. "Just a little longer." With one final surge of power, the Pearl of Tides emitted a blinding light, enveloping Thalasson completely. The sea monster's roars turned into a pained wail as the sealing spell took hold. The runes blazed with light, and Thalasson's form began to dissolve into the shadows, drawn back into the abyssal prison from which it had nearly escaped. As the light faded, silence fell over the chamber. Thalasson was once again sealed away, its threat neutralized. Exhausted but triumphant, Jake and Elara collapsed to the ground, their hearts pounding with relief. "We did it," Elara whispered, her voice filled with a mixture of disbelief and joy. "We actually did it." Jake smiled, reaching out to squeeze her hand. "We couldn't have done it without everyone. This was a team effort." Their allies gathered around them, expressions of pride and relief evident on their faces. The battle begins, with Thalasson partially awakened and the sealing spell's effects only temporary. The underwater kingdom braced for the climactic battle. The ground trembled with the monstrous creatures stirring, and the once calm waters were now turbulent, reflecting the looming chaos. Jake and Elara, armed with the Pearl of Tides and the Amulet of the Ancients, took their positions at the forefront of the assembled forces. Around them, allies from every corner of the ocean prepared for the imminent clash. The whales, led by Orin, lined up to use their sonic waves. Finn and the dolphins moved into flanking positions, ready to distract and disorient. Marina and the other merfolk formed a protective circle, their tridents and spells at the ready. As the final incantations of the sealing spell faded, Thalasson roared in fury, breaking free from the chasm. The sea monster's massive, serpentine form emerged, its eyes glowing with malevolent intelligence. Tentacles lashed out violently, creating whirlpools and currents that threatened to scatter the defenders. "Now!" Jake shouted, raising the trident high. The Pearl of Tides glowed brilliantly, its light cutting through headwaters. He and Elara focused its energy, aiming to weaken Thalasson before the beast could fully escape. The first wave of attacks began. Orin and the whales unleashed powerful sonic blasts, the sound waves hitting Thalasson with enough force to make the sea monster writhe in pain. Finn and the dolphins darted in and out, their agility allowing them to evade the monster's grasp while delivering swift strikes. Thalasson retaliated with a ferocious intensity, its tentacles smashing into the seabed and sending shockwaves through the water. One powerful swipe knocked several merfolk off their feet, but Marina quickly rallied them, using her spells to create a barrier that absorbed some of the impacts. Amid the chaos, Jake and Elara concentrated on maintaining the Pearl's energy, directing beams of light at Thalasson. The Amulet of the Ancients amplified their efforts, weaving protective spells around their allies and bolstering their defenses. "Keep pushing," Elara urged, her voice strong despite the strain. "We can weaken him together." As the battle raged on, the forces of the underwater kingdom displayed incredible bravery and coordination. Orin led a charge, ramming into Thalasson with his massive bulk, while inland the dolphins executed precision strikes on the monster's vulnerable spots. Thalasson, sensing the unity and determination of its adversaries, became even more ferocious. The sea monster's roars echoed through the trench, its eyes narrowing with fury. It focused its attacks on Jake and Elara, recognizing the threat posed by the Pearl of Tides. Jake felt the pressure mounting. "We need to end this now," he said, his voice filled with urgency. "Elara, on my signal, will unleash the full power of the Pearl." Elara nodded, steeling herself for the final effort. Together, a friend in need. Just as the battle with Thalasson reached its most desperate hour, a surge of reinforcements arrived. From the darkest depths and the farthest reaches of the underwater kingdom, allies answered the call, their presence turning the tide of the fight. Among the first to appear were the Manta Ray Squadron, led by the formidable Captain Aegis. Their sleek, agile forms cut through the water with precision, creating a defensive perimeter around Jake and Elara. With their electric stings, the Manta Rays targeted Thalasson's vulnerable spots, their synchronized attacks causing the sea monster to recoil in pain. "We're here to help," Captain Aegis declared, his voice strong and reassuring. "Let's drive this beast back where it belongs." Next came a pod of Orcus, their powerful bodies and fierce determination adding to the formidable force. Led by the wise and seasoned elder, Kalani, the Orcus used the strength to ram into Thalasson's tentacles, breaking its grip on the seabed and disrupting its balance. "We won't let this monster destroy our home," Kalani said, her voice carrying the weight of ages. "Together, we are unstoppable." The electric eels, led by the resilient Luminera, also joined the fray. Their bodies crackled with energy as they swam in swift, coordinated patterns, discharging powerful electric shocks that disoriented Thalasson and slowed its movements. "Stand strong, everyone," Luminara shouted, her voice echoing through the water. "We have the power to defeat this creature." From the depths, the giant sea turtles emerged, their ancient wisdom and unyielding resolve a testament to their strength. They formed a protective shield around the wounded and the weary, their massive shells absorbing the brunt of Thalasson's attacks. With slow, deliberate movements, they pushed forward, creating an impenetrable barrier. The synergy of these diverse allies created a formidable defense and allowed Jake and Elara to focus on channeling the Pearl of Tides. The unity and strength of their friends gave them the courage to unleash the full power of the artifact, knowing they were not alone in this fight. Amidst the chaos, Marina and the merfolk cast powerful spells, their magic intertwining with the light of the Pearl and the amulet of the ancients. The combined energy surged through the water, amplifying the effects of the sealing spell and weakening Thalasson further. With every strike, every spell, and every act of bravery, the allies drove Thalasson back. The sea monster's roars grew weaker, its movements sluggish. It was clear that the unity and determination of the underwater kingdom were overpowering the ancient terror. In the final moments of the battle, the synchronized effort of Jake, Elara, and their allies culminated in a blinding flash of light. The sealing spell took full effect, and Thalasson's monstrous form was drawn back into the abyssal prison, its threat neutralized once more. As the waters calmed and the battle came to an end, Jake and Earl looked around at their friends and allies. The relief and joy on their faces were mirrored in the eyes of every creature present. They had faced the ancient sea monster together and emerged victorious. "Thank you, everyone," Jake said, his voice filled with gratitude. "We couldn't have done it without you." Elara nodded in agreement, her eyes shining with pride. "Today, we proved that when we stand together, there's nothing we can't overcome." The underwater kingdom celebrated their victory, their unity and bravery, a testament to the strength of friendship and cooperation. Jake and Elara knew that their journey had brought them not only closer to each other, but also to the incredible beings who shared their world. Together, they had faced the greatest threat and triumphed, ensuring the safety of their home for generations to come. The power of friendship. As the echoes of battle faded and the waters around them stilled, Jake and Elara took a moment to reflect on the incredible journey they had undertaken together. The battles they had fought, the challenges they had overcome, and the bonds they had forged were all testaments to the strength of their friendship. It was this very bond that had given them the courage to face Thalasson and the wisdom to rally their allies. In the heart of the royal palace, a celebration was underway. Creatures from every corner of the ocean had gathered to honor the heroes who had saved their world. Yet, amidst the festivities, Jake and Elara found a quiet moment to talk, reflecting on the deeper power that had guided them through their trials. "Do you remember when we first met in the cave?" Elara asked, a soft smile playing on her lips. "We were so different, yet we found common ground." Jake nodded, his eyes filled with warmth. "I remember. I was just a curious boy exploring a beach cave, and you were a mermaid princess with a kingdom to protect. Our friendship grew from that first encounter, and it became our greatest strength." Elara's eyes sparkled with emotion. "It's amazing how our bond not only strengthened our resolve but also our powers. The Pearl of Tides and the Amulet of the Ancients reacted to our unity. Together, we could channel their magic in ways we never could have alone." Jake smiled, feeling the truth of her words resonate with him. Friendship has a magic all its own. It gave us the courage to face Thalasson, the wisdom to seek allies, and the strength to stand firm in the face of fear. As they spoke, the Mermaid King and Queen approached, their regal presence commanding respect. "Utwo have shown us all the true power of friendship," the king said, his voice filled with pride. "Your bond has not only saved our kingdom, but has also united creatures from all walks of life." The queen nodded in agreement. "In times of great peril, it is our connections to one another that become our greatest assets. You have demonstrated that beautifully." Jake and Elara exchanged a glance, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment. Their friendship had been the foundation upon which their victory was built, and it had transformed them into leaders capable of inspiring others. Elara turned to Jake, her voice filled with determination. "Our journey doesn't end here. There will always be challenges ahead, but as long as we stand together, we can face anything." Jake took her hand, his heart swelling with pride and resolve. "Together, we are unstoppable." The celebration continued around them, a vibrant testament to the unity and strength of the underwater kingdom. Jake and Elara knew that their friendship had become a beacon of hope and that their story would inspire generations to come. The power of their bond had not only saved their worlds, but had also shown everyone the true meaning of courage and friendship. As they looked out over the gathered allies and friends, Jake and Earl felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had faced darkness and emerged victorious, their friendship lighting the way. United, they were ready to embrace whatever adventures the future held, knowing that together, they could overcome anything. A kingdom united, the underwater kingdom buzzed with an energy that was both jubilant and unifying. Creatures from every corner of the ocean came together in celebration, their differences forgotten in the wake of their shared victory. The threat of Thalasson had been a dark cloud over their world, but now, with the monster sealed away, a new era of unity and cooperation had dawned. The central plaza of the royal palace was transformed into a grand festival ground. Colorful coral decorations adorned every structure, and bioluminescent plants lit up the surroundings with a magical glow. Music filled the water. A harmonious blend of melodies played on conch shells, reed flutes, and other traditional instruments of the sea. The merfolk's enchanting songs resonated through the depths, a melodic tribute to the bravery and unity that had saved their world. Jake and Elara moved through the crowd, receiving heartfelt thanks and congratulations from every direction. They were no longer just the boy from the surface and the mermaid princess. They were symbols of hope and the power of unity. "Look at how everyone is coming together," Elara said, her voice filled with wonder. "This is more than just a victory over Thalasson. It's a new beginning for our kingdom." Jake nodded, his eyes taking in the diverse assembly of creatures celebrating as one. "We showed that when we unite, we can overcome any challenge. This is what true strength looks like." At the heart of the celebration, King Triton and Queen Selene addressed their subjects from a grand podium. "Today, we celebrate not just the defeat of an ancient evil, but the dawn of a new era of unity," King Triton declared, his voice carrying through the water. "This victory belongs to all of us, a testament to our courage and our bonds." Queen Selene added, "Let this be a reminder that our strength lies in our diversity and our willingness to stand together. The friendships we have forged and the alliances we have strengthened are our greatest treasures." A cheer erupted from the crowd, a resounding affirmation of the Queen's words. The atmosphere was electric with camaraderie and optimism. Orin the whale, Captain Aegisoff the manta rays, Kalani the orca elder, Luminaire the electric eel, and many others mingled freely, their species' natural rivalries set aside in the spirit of unity. Throughout the celebration, Jake and Elara shared stories of their journey, the challenges they faced, and the friends they made along the way. Each tale was a reminder of the incredible power of teamwork and the importance of believing in one another. As the festivities continued, Jake found himself reflecting on his journey from the surface world to this magical underwater kingdom. He realized that the true magic wasn't just in the spells and artifacts, but in the bonds they had created and the friendships that had formed. Elara, sensing his thoughts, smiled and said, "We've all learned so much from this experience. We've grown stronger, not just as individuals, but as a community." Jake nodded, a sense of fulfillment washing over him. "This kingdom is more united than ever before, and it's because of the friendships we've built and the courage we've shown together." As the celebration reached its peak, the underwater kingdom stood united, stronger, and more connected. The victory over Thalasson was not just a triumph over darkness, but a beacon of hope and unity for the future. Jake and Elara knew that their adventure had forever changed their world, forging a legacy of friendship and cooperation that would endure for generations to come. The return home, as the celebrations began to wind down, he felt a bittersweet tug in his heart. The underwater kingdom, with its shimmering beauty and vibrant inhabitants, had become a second home to him. Yet, he knew that his family on the surface would be worried, and it was time to return to his world. Elara sensed his thoughts and swam up to him, her eyes reflecting the same mix of emotions. "It's time, isn't it?" she asked softly. Jake nodded, a lump forming in his throat. "Yeah, I should head back. My parents are probably worried sick by now." The two friends made their way to the beach cave when their adventure had begun. Along the way, they were joined by many of the creatures who had fought alongside them. Orin the whale, Captain Aegis, and even Kalani the orca elder came to bid him farewell. Their eyes were full of gratitude and respect. "You've done great things, Jake," Kalani said, her deep voice resonating through the water. "Remember, the ocean will always welcome you back." At the cave's entrance, King Triton and Queen Selene awaited them. The king placed a hand on Jake's shoulder. "You are always welcome here, young hero. Your bravery and friendship have changed our world." Queen Selene handed Jake a small, beautifully carved shell. "This is a token of our gratitude. It will allow you to return whenever you wish." Simply hold it to your heart and think of us." Jake took the shell, its smooth surface against his skin. "Thank you, your majesties. I'll never forget what we've been through together." Elara stepped forward, her eyes brimming with unshed tears. "Promise you'll visit again?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Jake nodded, his own emotion threatening to overwhelm him. "I promise. We'll see each other again." With one last embrace, Jake turned and walked through the cave. As he emerged onto the beach, the cool night air filled his lungs. The stars above twinkled brightly, and the sound of the waves crashing on the shore was a comforting reminder of the connection between the two worlds. As he made his way home, Jake couldn't help but look back at the ocean, a smile spreading across his face. He knew that his adventure wasn't over. It had only just begun. The friendships he had made and the lessons he had learned would stay with him forever. Back at home, Jake's parents embraced him, their relief palpable. He recounted his incredible journey, the magical kingdom beneath the waves, and the brave mermaid princess who had become his closest friend. Though it seemed like a fantastical tale, they could see the truth in his eyes and the changes in his heart. As Jake settled back into his life on the surface, he often found himself gazing out at the ocean, the carved shell always close at hand. He knew that whenever the call of the sea beckoned, he would be ready to answer. The underwater kingdom was not just a distant memory but a vibrant, living part of his world, and he was forever linked to its wonders and its people. In the days that followed, Jake and Elara continued to communicate through the shell, sharing stories and strengthening their bond. They knew that their friendship had the power to bridge two worlds, and together, they would face whatever adventures lay ahead. With a heart full of hope and a promise to return, Jake embraced his life on the surface, knowing that the magic of the underwater kingdom would always be a part of him. And so, the boy from the beach and the mermaid princess remained united by their incredible journey, their bond a testament to the enduring power of friendship and courage.